Hello everyone, welcome to the start of this week's live IELTS broadcasting. My name is Adrian and it's good to see all of you in class. I'm broadcasting to you live from beautiful Budapest, capital city of Hungary. Hi Pachu, good to see you in class as always. You are frequently here and I can see that you're improving in your comments throughout these classes. Good for you. Hi Pradeep and hi everybody else joining in. All right, today we are looking at some IELTS listening strategy and practice. This is coming out of our websites where we have 6 full practice exams full of audio, interactive strategies, practice, as well as over 100 hours of video lessons. So aehelp.com if you're studying academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com if you're studying general IELTS. Make sure to check us out there. Spend a little, save a lot, improve your band scores. All right. Good to see so many students in today's class. You can get hard copies and electronic copies of our exam books that we use in these classes. If you're looking for the academic book, search for AE Helps Academic IELTS on your Amazon.com or whatever country you're in. Store GE Helps General IELTS if you're looking for a General IELTS books. If you have questions about IELTS, our products, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. That's my name, at aehelp.com. All right, here's a quick peek at today's schedule. I did put this up in the community post as well, so you can check it there. Today, we are doing listening parts 1 and 2. Tomorrow, we'll finish with listening parts 2 and 3. Broadcasting is according to Central European Time, CET. You can check the time zone difference on Google. We'll do speaking parts 1 and 2 on the 16th, and then we have a request for the members chat class. It's going to be a task to how to respond to an open type essay question. We'll have a couple days break as usual, back on the 21st with more classes. All right. Let's get right into listening. Let's do a listening part 1 right away. Get a pencil and a paper ready. If you don't have one, now just reach for it. Grab a pencil, grab a paper. We will do some listening. I'm playing the audio through my head mic here, so if it's not loud enough, just turn up the volume on your end as much as possible. It's maxed out on my end. Please don't write your answers into the chat. Give everybody a fair chance to listen and answer. We'll go through the answers together after the end of listening section 1, and then we'll talk about some strategies and how to do that. So get your pencil and paper ready. I'll open up the audio and the question sets here, and then we'll get there pretty quick. Just give me 1 minute. I have to actually access the materials here. This is coming out of textbook number 2. So let's open that up, and the page number will be page 76. Let's get the dark version going here for you. All right, just bear with me 1 moment here, students, while I get this going for you. All right. So again, this is our second book, so second exam book. Each exam book has 3 full exams in it. This is page number 76 from that exam book. All right, let's get this to full size. And there you go. And that'll be nice and clear for you. And then we will open up the audio. For those of you that have access to our full course, your audio materials for all of these listening sections, as well as reading and speaking, log in at the top of your account. And then after you are logged into your account, this tab here, it's the 5th one, is your IELTS audio CDs. And when you go to your IELTS audio CDs, since this is test number 6, as you can see up there, it's going to be CD number 6. So let's go there now. CD 6, and of course this will be track number 1 because it's listening 1. So let's get this going. Pencils, papers ready. Again, ladies and gents, please don't write your answers into the chat. Just hold off till the end. We'll go through the answers together, okay?
This recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings, and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Listening Section 1. You will hear a conversation between a man and a woman concerning the requirements of running for municipal office. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5.
Okay, and then here, you want to look at questions 1 to 5 and visualize what it's about. So town councillor, it's an application form, so it's somebody applying for town councillor. It's a political position. Right away, I can see that the name, it's going to be spelt out. There's an address here, so I'm ready to listen to numbers and a name. I remember to capitalize here. And then I keep going. Don't worry about the example too much. Date of birth. And then here, there's some more information about a second debate, so an argument. So here's the date, here's the time, the location. So I have to listen for PM or AM or afternoon, morning. Okay, good. What is this campaign spending limit? I have to listen to some money here. How much is the registration fee? Okay, so now I go back and focus.
Now we begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning. You've reached the Information Office for Municipal Affairs. This is Florence speaking.
Good morning, Florence. My name is Walter, and I'd like some information on running for municipal office in the upcoming election.
You're in the right place. The first piece of information I'll need from you is the specific office you'd like to run for.
Town councillor, I'd imagine.
Great. I need some information from you in order to get you on the ballot this September. Are you ready to get started?
Yes, I'm ready.
This should only take a few minutes. Okay then, let's start with your surname, Walter.
Colchester. Colchester.
And Walter is spelt in the regular fashion?
Yes, Walter.
Okay, next I need your date of birth.
I was born the 11th of December, 1979.
The 11th of December 1979 makes you 36 years old at the time of the September elections. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Great. I'll need your national insurance number.
My national insurance number is WC 285-69833.
WC 285-69833.
That's right.
Great. And the last pieces of information I need from you are your current address and phone number.
I live at 23 Shaftesbury Lane, Plymouth, and you can reach me on 01752 667 835.
Wonderful. Next, I'll give you some information on running for municipal office.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10.
So now I look at 6 to 10 carefully. Second debate. This is a date. I know I'm going to have a month here. Try to use abbreviation. Remember your capital letters. I have a specific time here. Questions 8 to 9. Looked at the campaign spending limit. How much is the registration fee? Realistically, should be less than £100 or around that. And then question 10. What are 3 ways of paying for the registration? Direct debit, check by post, credit in person, cash by post, credit over the phone, check over the phone. So here I'm listening for credit card or paying by post or paying in person. Here we go.
and answer questions 6 to 10.
First of all, you should know that you are one of 15 candidates so far that have registered for the 4 town councillor positions. Since the deadline for registration is in a week, I do not anticipate this number increasing by more than a candidate or 2. Second, please know that there are 3 all-candidate debates, of which you must attend 2 in order to qualify for office.
I have to participate in debates.
Yes, that's right. They are on the 14th and 28th of August, and the final one is held on the 4th of September. They'll be held at the local community hall on Ashford Street. Each one begins at 6 o'clock in the evening.
That sounds fine. Is there anything else I need to know?
Yes, there is. Do you plan on spending money on your campaign? This could be on adverts in newspapers, promotional signage, or other advertising.
Well, I was planning on taking an ad out in the local paper, yes.
Not a problem, but please keep in mind that there is a strict £2,000 limit on campaign spending for town councillors. All expenses must be reported to this office. Overspending will result in disqualification.
I don't think that should be a problem.
Oh, and one more thing, Mr. Colchester. There is a £50 registration fee for each candidate for town councillor. You may pay this fee over the phone by credit card, with a cheque in the post, or in person with cash, credit or debit. How would you like to pay?
I live right by the office, so I'll drop by this afternoon to pay in person.
My assistant will take care of that for you. I think that is all I need from my end. Do you have any questions?
I don't think so. Thanks for your help.
You're welcome, and good luck.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, and in this time, you should check your answers. You shouldn't be looking at section 2. You should use the time that's given for what they give it for. Especially in part 1. Part 1, remember, it's the easiest section, so you should try to get as many correct scores as possible here. Hopefully 9 of 10, or even better, a perfect 10 out of 10. All right, so what do you check for when you're looking at this? First of all, check that you're not making any silly spelling mistakes, such as using a small c for the name. So make sure it's a capital C here. You'll have a second chance when you have 10 minutes at the end to transfer your answer sheets. But here, make sure that you have the correct spelling, or at least you have the correct capitalization. Again, make sure that the date of birth, you've kept it simple. You used an abbreviation for the month. It's also capital letter. All right. If you didn't get any of these, then just take a quick guess. So if you left some of these blank, just put a few numbers in there, take a guess. It might not be correct, but hey, it's worth a try. Then here, you want to check, again, to make sure that you have it written correctly. For number 8, you need just the number. So when you're checking your answer, you should realize that, aha, they gave me the symbol for pound, so I don't need to write the word pound, either in number 8 or in number 9. So just the actual number, it's all you need. And then here, if you missed one, then take a guess. It's one question. You need to get all 3 correct to pick up that mark. All right. So let's go through these answers together now. This man is applying for town councillor. What was the correct answer for number 1? Again, students who are writing answers in during the listening, please don't do that for the next section, okay? Give everybody a fair chance. So number 1, what is the correct answer? What is the right answer? Okay, Shanu, good to see members answering so quickly. Shanu, Colchester, Hank, Jignesh, make sure that C is capital, or otherwise you're going to lose the mark, even if you get it right. Shanu Mohammed, I see you're using all capital letters, which is a clever trick to avoid a spelling mistake there, so that's good. It's Colchester, and there is an H in there. I believe it's Colchester. Chester like this. We will look at the answer key at the end. I believe this only the H is after the second C because that's a ch sound. This is a k sound. Colchester. Know your phonetics in English. K, ch. Okay, Colchester. All right, number 2. Where does this person live? Something Shaftesbury Lane. Where does the person live? Give me number 2, please. Yeah, 23 Shaftesbury Lane, and it's not 23rd, Jignes. It's just 23 Shaftesbury Lane. Shaftesbury Lane is given, so you only need the number. Please use the number. Don't actually write the word 23. A lot more room for mistakes there. So 23, good. Okay, city, Plymouth. Date of birth. When was Mr. Colchester born? What's the year, the month, the day? Look for an easy answer there. 11th December 1979. Yes. Okay. Mahesh, by the way, good answer there. I saw that you gave. And Farheen, 23 Shaftesbury Lane. You don't need to write Shaftesbury, Farheen, because it's there. Farheen, 11th December, you need the date. And for all of you who are writing it correctly, good for you. So it's 11 December 1979. That's the easiest and safest way to write this to get full mark, okay? Use capital letters, D-E-C. The D has to be capital. It's the name of a month. It's 11th. You do not need the superscript TH, okay? It's not necessary. You can get the point without that. Don't write that because if you do something silly like put an RD, they will mark it wrong. So the safest is just to avoid any of that superscript, okay? So 11 December 1979, okay? That is your easiest answer there. Good for you. All right, phone number. What is Mr. Colchester's phone number? Yes, absolutely, Samrat. You can use short form abbreviations in the listening and reading, and I highly recommend it. Okay, it's a phone number. It's 01752 01752. You do not need to worry about spacing, okay? 667835, 667835. Yeah, that looks good. I didn't catch that. I don't have that good a memory to memorize that sequence of numbers. Again, spacing does not matter, so you can do it all like that, okay? Here, Sim, yes, absolutely. You can do short form. Again, December, okay? So if you got those numbers, great. What is his national insurance number? I saw somebody accidentally mix that up. Be very careful. So that's what you want to check for, is you don't want to mix phone number and national insurance number. Phone number should not have any letters in there, okay? So I can see that there is a lot of numbers coming. I'll show a couple of them because YouTube's hiding them. There we go. Naveen, good job. Okay. Jubilant James, good. So this is where you WC. It makes sense, right? Because national insurance numbers, passport numbers, they can have letters in them. Phone numbers don't, right? We don't usually show it that way. So 2856933, 28569859833. Okay, 33. So that looks like it's the popular answer. If you've gotten that, good for you. Okay, so far so good. Again, for these, use capital letters. Okay. All right, stellar. Very nice job, everyone. Good start to the day. I can see that a lot of you are paying attention. You probably realized too that the form completion here wasn't actually, the information wasn't in sequence of the numbers. So this came first, this piece of information, and then it was the date of birth, then it was the address, then it was national insurance number, phone number, something like that. That can happen for form completion questions like this, okay? So pay attention that with a form completion question, you might not have the exact same sequence in the audio as the question. So really pay attention to each of these points as they're mentioned, okay? Otherwise, you can easily miss a question, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to miss an easy question in part 1 like this. So really be careful. All right, let's take a look at question number 6 to 7. 6 to 7 is a form completion again. It's just 2 questions, a little bit more tricky. You have to pay attention. The administrator says that there are 3 debates, and she gives the date for all 3. So number 6, when was that? That was the second debate. There was one, I can't remember when. There was another one, I can't remember when. And then there was a third one. I think the second one was the one in August. So 28 Aug. If I'm not mistaken, it was in August. Okay, maybe I am. We'll check that out. I think the September one was the third debate. So just be careful. And then this was a little bit easier. The administrator says that all of the debates are at 6 p.m. So that's 6 p.m. You need to have p.m., okay? Or you could give this one as 18 o'clock, like that. So 2 possible answers there. All right, again, we'll check the answer key here in a moment, but that should have been your answer. It's very important here that you pay attention to the woman saying there's 3 debates. You have to attend 2 of them. The first one is at this time. The second one is at this time. The third one is at that time. So pay attention there. 6 o'clock, Anuj. I don't think you might not get that because it's not necessarily 6 p.m. That could be 6 a.m. So p.m. is very important. You could just have 6 p.m. You don't even need this part, okay? You can just have 6 p.m., but you really need that p.m., okay? Yeah, no more than 2 words. Sorry, Naveen's asking. It's a good ask. No more than 2 words. Is it okay to have numbers? Yeah, it's okay. In this case, that's probably a mistake in the instructions. It should say no more than 2 words and or a number. But here, keep it simple. Numbers do work as words. So yes, it's absolutely fine. You can't just write 18. No, that's not going to be enough, Anatoly. That was a good question too. All right, questions 8 to 9. So the woman says that there is a campaign spending limit. What is the limit? How much money can these candidates spend? £2,000. That's right. Okay, good. Good job. The first one of the gates there, I didn't catch it, but good job. Farheen, yep, good. I think that was fairly easy for most students. You seem to have all gotten that right. Just make sure that you don't write the pound into the answer keys because you'll get it wrong. For Feruza and somebody with a Cyrillic name were the first 2 on that one, so good for you. I can't read the Cyrillic. Sorry about that. How much is the registration fee? So how much is the registration fee? Okay, Oman, again, Mahak, and somebody with a Cyrillic name, I still can't read it, £50. Yeah, and again, you just need the number 50. You can write the word 50. It's not the end of the world, but this is easier. So use numbers when possible, okay? Even though it says write no more than 2 words, you can use the number there. It's still a correct answer, absolutely. Okay, and then the last question, you have to get all 3 of these correct. What are 3 ways of paying the registration fee mentioned in the recording? A, direct debit, check by post, credit in person, cash by post, credit over the phone, check over the phone. So what were the answers here? Sahib says it's ECA. Feruza says it's CDE. Anuj, don't write pound because it's in the answer. CDE is another answer. CEF, there's a bit of confusion there, so we'll see that. I definitely remember check by post was mentioned, which is, of course, obvious. It's the traditional way to do it. It's safe. It's not like sending cash. We never send cash by post. So that would not be okay because logically, a government office will not ask you to send them money in an envelope. That would be weird. So please don't choose D. Credit card over the phone makes sense. And maybe credit in person. So BCE would be what I guess. Check over the phone doesn't work either. That's really strange. Direct debit, that might be possible as well. My best guess would be BCE, but we'll have a look in the end. Check over the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if you're familiar with checks, but giving a check over the phone is not something I've heard of. So D and F seem to be impossible answers, okay? All right, so that is part 1. And again, we'll look at those answer keys after we finish part 2. I don't want to jump the gun here for you. Tomorrow at the same time, we'll have another live lesson like this. You're asking when will we have another live lesson? Okay, girls and guys, so let's talk a little bit about strategy here, okay? So what do you need to do for listening strategy? Just a couple minutes on this before we do part 2. So here's a couple of important points that I mentioned, okay? Tip 1, this is more of a tip than a strategy. Aim to get 9 out of 10 or a perfect score for section 1 because the next sections are more difficult and it is likely that you will lose more marks there. Okay, so practice this at home. If you're not getting 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for section 1, then keep focusing on section 1. You have to reach those high scores for section 1. If you've gotten 8, you're doing all right, but try to get as high as possible, okay? Tip number 2, and this is a strategy, practice timing. Okay, so make sure that you know how to use the timing in your review time and in your preparation time for that listening section, okay? You have to be effective. Being effective and confident with your preparation time and your review time can really help you to bump up those extra couple of scores and push your overall band half a band or even a band, okay? So practice your timing. One good example here is don't worry too much about the example. Use this time for detailed review. You saw me do that at the beginning, right? So when the speaker is giving the example in the audio, and that was right at the beginning, and they only do this for section 1, so they have maybe about 20 seconds where they're giving this example question answer. You don't need to worry about that. Use that time to go ahead and review some of the later questions, get a better idea, get a more detailed idea, okay? So again, practice your timing, very important. Number 3, again, this is strategy. Visualize, okay? Include yourself, all right? So picture yourself, okay, in the topic. So whether it's an application for a gym membership, see yourself as being there, applying for the gym, wanting to get nice and buff and strong, lift some weights, see what you're going to need for that, what you talk about, how should I dress for the gym, how much do I pay for the gym, what's the length of a membership. So think about those typical situations. In this case, of course, it's not a gym. It's a town councilor. So here, you want to visualize. So when you're reviewing these questions, you want to picture yourself as a politician. You're dressed nice. You're ready to give a debate, an argument. You're checking your watch to see what time you have to be there. So see yourself. Don't look at it like a TV. Don't put the information in the distance. Don't think about it as looking through a window or a TV screen, but put yourself into the situation. So keep yourself in the situation and include your own thoughts. It's much more effective, okay? So that's another strategy. All right, so visualize, include yourself in the topic. Consider the common questions and answers for the situation, okay? So those are the strategies we're focusing on today. That's what I want you to focus on for part 2. All right. I see that there are some couple of questions. Hank is asking a good question. So Hank says, "Sir, I always get lost during the listening test. How can I fix that? Okay, what do I need to pay attention to fix that?" Hank, that is a very good question. I'll address that before we look at section 2. Look for key words. Look for key topic words. So when you're looking at this section 1, then you need to look for keywords. Certain keywords that can help you to figure out where you are in the listening are names and dates, so Shaftesbury Lane or Walter or Plymouth, okay? And then, of course, information like birth or phone, or national insurance. So as soon as you hear that word, then you know you should be somewhere nearing this question. Now, it's easier for task 1, but it does work for task 3, 4 as well, okay? Here, you're focusing on words like second debate and Ashford Street, okay? So keep those in mind. For this type of question, okay, this one is an easy one to get lost on. You're watching for words, keywords like check, debit, credit. Okay, so the actual modes of payment are debit, check, credit, cash. Those are the 4 types of payment. You don't need to worry about the post, the person, or direct. You need to focus on listening for the word debit, check, credit, cash, and then you can likely catch what that is connected to, post or in person. So that was a good question. Okay, let's check out listening section 2 now. Here we are. Okay, again, this is your second exam book. You can get these exam books from Amazon. I'll show you how at the end. CD6 track 2 from the website. Okay, you can use our website on your phone or your tablet too. It's responsive, so don't worry about that. Everybody get ready with your pencil and paper. Again, ladies and gents, please be respectful to the other students watching. Give them a fair chance. Don't confuse them with wrong or right answers. Wait for the end of section 2. We'll discuss the answers. Just write it down. Do not write your answer into the chat, please. We'll go over it after, and you'll have a chance to prove your merit. Okay, here we go. Get your pencils, pens ready, and we will start with section 2. Use these strategies. Visualize the situation. Pay attention to keywords. Watch how I use the timing.
Now turn to section 2. Take some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening section 2. You will hear a recording of 3 people discussing strategy for an upcoming meeting with investors. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
Thank you both for coming in for this preparatory meeting. As you know, we have an extremely important meeting with our investors next week. While I'm more than confident in the work we have done over the past year, we must be prepared to justify our progress to our investors. After all, they are the ones who pay our salaries. First, I want to review the positive outcomes we've achieved over the past year. This will make up the bulk of our presentation. Amy, would you like to give us a rundown on this front?
Sure. We've achieved many positive outcomes over the past year, and furthermore, we've achieved more in the past 4 months than in the previous 8 months. So we're certainly showing significant progress. First, and most important, sales of our app are up 50% from last year, totaling 586,000 units in the past 12 months, up from 390,000 units in the previous year. This is great progress. Second, we're achieving a higher purchase rate. While our sales are up 50%, the number of total downloads has remained relatively constant. This means our conversion rate has increased 50% as well. This clearly demonstrates that our efforts in this area have been fruitful. By targeting the conversion rate instead of the raw download rate, we have raised our standing and search result priority within the application stores. This will eventually lead to a higher download rate and even more sales. The upward trajectory here is very clear. We have also decreased the complaint rate from 2.5% to 1.5%. While our goal is to get this rate as close to zero as possible, this decrease represents a positive outcome and shows that our efforts to increase customer satisfaction have been successful.
Yes, but if I may interrupt, I actually have to disagree on one point. I don't believe it should be a goal to get the complaints rate down to zero. While we certainly don't want a high complaints rate, the resources spent on getting the complaint rate down are better spent on increasing downloads and increasing the conversion rate. I think this is an important point to be made to the investors. While we certainly value the quality of our product, we are much more focused on maximising the value of the investor's investment. I think such a tack will go over well with the investors.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
That's a great point. We really want to emphasize that we are doing everything we can to optimize and maximize the money and resources we've been supplied with. Speaking of which, are we all agreed that we will be asking for 20% increase in operating budget?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. And how are we going to justify such an increase?
Well, certainly by pointing to the statistical outcomes you previously referenced, but also by our need to expand. We need to increase our catalogue of apps, and to do this, we will need to hire at least 2 additional developers. In addition to this, I think we are now at the point in our business where hiring a market analyst would be justified. Such a person could be charged with finding niches to exploit within the market. Right now, our operations in this regard are rudimentary at best, and an expert in the field could help increase our sales volume significantly. Such an expert's salary might take up 5% of our operating budget, but could lead to a 10% increase in sales or more. The 5% difference would result in a net income increase of almost £100,000.
I agree. Hiring a market analyst is long overdue. One more justification for a budget increase is an across-the-board pay rise, if only at the rate of inflation. 2%, say. This would go a long way to increasing worker morale and output quality. In addition to this,
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, good job. So now in this half minute, again, you'd want to go back and take a quick peek at your answers and make sure that you didn't make any mistakes. So here, number 11, who pays the salaries of the workers in the recording? Check your answer. Of course, this should be a noun. It should be a position or a person. If you didn't catch it, you can make a guess. And by listening to the full audio, you could probably have a pretty good guess here of what that actually is. Okay? Now, for this one here, you realize that, okay, I needed a number here. The percentage was given here. This was probably some kind of a long number of the sales, a dollar value or a figure. This was some kind of a percent. You can take a guess if you missed it. And then this was also a percent here. Sure. Okay, let's go through the questions together. So who pays the salaries of the workers in this recording? And I can see that Shushma has jumped the gun a little bit there, but good. And Suk Singh also says it's the investors. Now, Suk Singh's using all capital letters, which is great, sure. Investors is fine. Yeah, make sure you have the correct spelling. So investors, and it is plural. Okay, so you need the S. They said investors. After all, it is they who pay our salaries. The speaker uses plural. It's emphasized. Now, you probably realize that the first speaker, their accent was a little bit tricky. That's because that speaker's from New Zealand, and that's a Kiwi accent. But the answer word is very clear. So he says very clearly, after all, it is the investors who pay our salaries. So it's emphasized quite clearly. So don't get scared if you hear a more difficult English accent. You should realize that the answers should still be very clear, okay? I bet a few of you are wondering that. Oh boy, I hope I don't get audio where the accent is that tricky, okay? All right, if you write investors with a small I, like Farheen did, or Jubilant James, that's fine, because it's a common word, okay? All right, now here we had a table completion, and I showed you during the preparation time that these are key words to pay attention to here, because these words are the words that are most likely going to be used by the speaker. You see that there's no topic here, so these are the headings of rows, and it's very likely that you will hear these words and then the answers. So what was the actual sales figures? So it was a change from the last year of 50%. So they had 50% better sales. How much did they actually have? What were the sales numbers? Did anybody catch that? John Petey, Joshi, why did I write all in capital letters? Because that's an easy way to avoid spelling mistakes if it's a proper noun. Okay. Usman, reading will be next week. We don't have reading scheduled for this week. Okay, so we have up 50%. Anybody catch that number? It was an actual number. It was like 300,000 something. I didn't quite catch the number. But notice that here they have the percent. Here, there's no percent. So just by the fact that you don't see the percent there and you see it here, you should know that this will be an actual number. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, dash, 4, 5, 6. So this will be some kind of a number here. And I can see that nobody really caught that. So be careful. If you see symbols, especially in the blanks, then you should see it there if that's a percent. If it's an actual number, then you're listening for a number. So we'll leave that as a question mark unless somebody caught that. Okay? I believe it was much higher, but good for some of you taking some guesses. Okay? All right, then this one here, the conversion purchase rate was up. So how much was the conversion purchase rate up by? What was number 13? That was a little bit easier. It's good if you caught that. If you didn't get this one, yeah, take a guess. You never know. It's a tricky one, but you might still get it. So what was number 13? Up by 50%, yeah. So you only need the number 50. Again, they give you the symbol. Please don't write percent or the symbol, okay? They give it to you, so just write 50 into the answer sheet. So MD Tosikul Islam has a good answer. Abdul, you could get that wrong if you write that percent symbol when it's given, okay? Complaint rate, 1.5%. How much was it down from the previous year? What's the answer to number 14? A little bit tricky. Roshni Kunte has the correct answer. The correct answer is 1. Okay. Why is it 1? Because previous year change was 1%. It was down from 2.5 to 1.5%. So the previous, notice this word here, change from the previous year. A little bit tricky, okay? It's 2.5 minus 1.5. It's 1. 1%, you only need to give the number 1 because we're looking at the change, not the raw number. So this is where you have to be very, very careful. IELTS is tricky because IELTS is not just testing your English. And I know this is where a lot of students get really frustrated. IELTS is also checking your critical thinking and your test-taking aptitude, okay? So a little bit of a tricky one there. It's 1% change, All right. This is kind of a little bit of a mistake here in the question set. It's what 2 points do the employees disagree on? Hope you didn't get too confused by that. What point do the employees disagree on? It was quite clear. Was it A, ways to increase conversion rate, B, how to convince investors to increase funding, or C, getting the complaint rate as low as possible? Okay, and a lot of you said C. Very good. Yeah, because one of the employees says, hey, we should get that complaint rate down. And the other employee says, no. We should be focusing on ways of increasing conversions rates. So they're disagreeing on getting the complaint rate as low as possible. So that was C. That was very good. Okay, this one here, because we have this dark version for live classes, you didn't see this, but maximizing the value of the investor's investment. That was A. Maximizing the value of investors' money. That was your A choice. So what is the primary importance according to the employees? Was it A, B, or C? B was increasing funding for their company to hire new people. C, convincing the company to increase downloads conversion rates. Hopefully, you did a deduction there and you realized that they didn't say B or C. They talked a lot about making the most out of the money that investors give to the company. If you missed some of this, and I know it's a little bit of a more difficult part too, and you have access to our full course on our website, make sure to review this one if you missed these. It should have been A, so this should have been the right answer here. By deduction, even if you didn't see it. Okay, then came this little fill in the blanks. I think this was maybe an easier part of this listening section. It was a bit more clear. When we were preparing, I was showing you some key pieces to pay attention to make the listening easier. Okay? When you're reviewing this type of summary completion question and you see a number like 20%, they're going to say that in the audio, and you can see that the answer is coming right after, so you should be able to get this one quite easy as long as you're focusing on 20%. Now, the second trick here is this higher to. Okay, to is a good word too, but especially the verb. Verbs are action. Okay, and action words are very good to focus on. That's a good strategy when you're trying to catch missing information. Okay, and indeed in this situation, if you focused on the word hire, you should have been able to catch who they're trying to hire for these two blanks. All right, so let's talk about that. Let's go to number 17. What was the correct answer for number 17? 20% funding for what? Very good, Roshni Kunte. Operating budget. Okay, that was very good. Yeah, for the first one, it was 2 words. Pay attention to question instructions. It was operating budget. Yeah, so they want more money to work with, okay, that they can spend on different aspects of the business. Good. Operating budget, 2 words. You needed both. If you wrote them all capital, that's okay, as long as the spelling is good, or writing them all small letters, okay? It's not a name, so make sure you don't write a big O. You'll get it wrong, okay? Not a big O, not a big B. This will allow the company to hire 2 additional. Number 18 was Suk, not developments. Developments is wrong word form. Glad unso, wrong spelling. Okay, careful. It's just 1 P. Don't get it wrong. Shanu, very good. Farheen, excellent. Seema, good job. Okay, it's developers. And a very important S. If you don't have the S for the plural because it's 2 additional developers, you'll get it wrong. Okay, it's very clearly plural because it's two. That's what you want to pay attention to when you're reviewing your answers or when you're transferring your answers to the answer sheet. Okay, so as long as you got developers, that's good. Sahib, be really careful. It's a common noun, not a proper noun, so you don't want a big D. Okay, just either all small letters or all big letters, but not a big D with small letters. Okay, they would also like to hire what? Who else do they want in this company? For number 19, okay, it's another position, and here I can see that it's so it's a singular. Market analyst, absolutely. Very good, Jagnesh. Very good, Aditya. Not a marketer, Abdul. A marketer and a market analyst are two different positions. Kung Kong, market analyzer, unfortunately is not correct. It's market analyst. It is not a proper noun. Seema, it's not market analysis because that's not the person. The person is analyst, okay? So you have to get that correct. It's market. It's not a name, so it's just small, but it is a position, okay? Analyst. It has to be YST. If you write analysis, you'll get it wrong, okay? So that's the only correct answer. You need both of those words. Market, analyst. Last question here for section 2. So finally, the team wants a pay raise pegged to the rate of, pegged means fixed to the rate of, so what's the pay raise that they want? Hank says 2%. They might take that, maybe, Hank, maybe not. There's a better answer. Okay, and you want the best answer here. There is a better answer than 2%. The 2% was just given as an example for something. What was the 2% given for? Seema Sahota, 5% definitely not. 2% they might take it because the woman says, say 2%, but it wasn't actually 2%. The rate of, so look at this here, the rate of 2% is a bit awkward. Naveen, very good. It's the rate of inflation, okay? Inflation is the change in the value of money that we realize every year in our country. And all capital or all small letters. So rate of inflation. Inflation is the change. The woman says maybe it's 2%, but you just need the word inflation. Inflation is the best answer. You'll get that correct for sure. It's not income, Sahib. 2% maybe. Okay, good job, everyone. I know this listening can be quite challenging. Again, you see now why it's so important to do well in part 1. Because it absolutely gets more difficult for part 2. Let's take a look at the answer key and see how you did. Remember, we'll do section 3 and 4 tomorrow, so make sure you save the paper, and then I can tell you what your band score is tomorrow when we're done this full listening. But for now, let's do correct and mark this. This is, again, out of exam book 2, so if you have our exam books, if you have our access to our premium course, then this is on page 180 of your exam book 2 for the answer key. Of course, your version of the book is with white pages. This is just for the projection here. So here we go. Number 1, mark it correct only if it's like this. So Colchester has to be a big C. If you wrote a small c, don't give yourself a point because the IELTS will not. If you wrote all capital letters, that's okay. So Colchester, 23, 11, DEC, 1979. 01752667835. WC 285-69833. 28th August was the right one. 6 p.m. When you see the brackets, it's saying that it's optional. They'll take just 6. But if you want to be on the safe side, definitely include p.m. So if you wrote 6, it's okay. Number 8, 2000. Okay. Number 9 is 50. Number 10 was BCE. The order doesn't matter, but you need to get all 3 letters correct. If any of these letters are wrong, they will not give you the mark. Number 11, investors. Number 12 was, it's still black there, it's 586000, and then you could also include the word units. So that was the actual sales of the company this year for number 12. Okay. Number 13 is 50. Okay. Number 14 is 1, that 1% change. 15 is C, 16 is A for the multiple choice. Number 17 is operating budget. For sure. Okay, that's a mistake in the answer key there. 18 is developers, 19 is market analyst, and 20 is inflation. Again, if you write 2% there, because the woman does say it, they'll probably take that. So that's correct. That's operating budget. Okay, so those are the correct answers. Count your scores. Save it for tomorrow. We'll look at listening section 3 and 4 tomorrow. I'll talk more strategy for the more difficult listening section. So I'll give you some more strategies that you can use to help get at least a few more of the questions answers correct. And again, if you haven't signed up for our full courses, do that. Lots of help there for you for all sections of the IELTS. AEhelp.com for academic IELTS, GIELTShelp.com for general IELTS. A lot of great interaction today. Beautiful minds, ladies and gentlemen. You're all beautiful people. Remember that. Have confidence in yourself. The world is a better place when you have a lot of self-confidence. So I believe in you. Believe in yourself. You've all done a wonderful job. Good interaction again. Lots of students in there today. Thank you so much. Thank you, members, for supporting our channel. Always a special shout out to you. I wish all of you a beautiful rest of your day and wonderful dreams if it's late in your country and you're getting ready for bed. Bye for now, everyone. See you tomorrow for listening sections 3 and 4.